Paul Sérusier, a pivotal figure in the post-impressionist movement, was born on November 9, 1864, in Paris, France. Sérusier's journey into the art world began with a solid educational foundation. He attended the Lycée Fontanes, later renamed Lycée Condorcet, where he excelled in academics. Initially, his aspirations leaned toward a career in business, reflecting the pragmatic expectations of his bourgeois family. However, his passion for creativity soon diverted his path, leading him to the Académie Julian in Paris in 1885. At the Académie Julian, Sérusier received rigorous training in classical techniques, which shaped his early style. Surrounded by the dynamic artistic milieu of late 19th century Paris, he absorbed the influences of Impressionism and academic realism, which were dominant at the time. Yet, it was evident that Sérusier sought something beyond the conventional, an artistic approach that could capture not only what was seen, but also what was felt. A transformative moment in Sérusier's career occurred in 1888 during a summer trip to Pont-Aven, a small village in Brittany known for its picturesque landscapes and vibrant artist colony. It was here that he encountered Paul Gauguin, whose revolutionary ideas about art profoundly impacted him. Gauguin was experimenting with a style he referred to as Synthetism, which emphasized bold colors, flat planes, and the simplification of forms to convey emotional and spiritual truths. Under Gauguin's mentorship, Sérusier painted Le Talisman, a small yet groundbreaking work that became emblematic of his artistic shift. The painting, created on the lid of a cigar box, depicted the landscape of Pont-Aven with vivid, almost arbitrary colors and simplified shapes. Gauguin's guidance encouraged Sérusier to move away from mimetic representation, focusing instead on subjective interpretation. This work marked the genesis of Sérusier's departure from academic norms, as he embraced a more symbolic and expressive aesthetic. Upon returning to Paris, Sérusier shared his newfound vision with his peers at the Académie Julian, inspiring a group of like-minded artists, including Pierre Bonnard, Édouard Vuillard, Maurice Denis, and others. Together, they formed Les Nabis, Hebrew for prophets, a collective that sought to revolutionize art by infusing it with spiritual and emotional depth. Sérusier emerged as a central figure in this movement, often referred to as the Nabi with the beard, due to his distinctive appearance and intellectual demeanor. The Nabis drew inspiration from diverse sources, including Japanese prints, medieval art, and the burgeoning symbolist movement. They believed in the synthesis of art and life, seeking to transcend traditional boundaries by applying their artistic philosophy to various mediums, from painting and illustration to theatre and interior design. Sérusier played a critical role in shaping the theoretical framework of the group, advocating for the primacy of intuition and emotion in artistic creation. Sérusier's artistic philosophy was deeply influenced by Symbolism, a movement that emphasized the representation of ideas and emotions over literal depictions. He believed that art should serve as a vehicle for spiritual revelation, drawing the viewer into a realm of introspection and transcendence. His writings and lectures often explored these themes, positioning him as a thinker as much as an artist. In addition to his work with the Nabis, Sérusier became interested in esotericism, studying the occult and mystical traditions that were popular among avant-garde circles of the time. These interests informed his artistic vision, imbuing his works with a sense of mystery and otherworldliness that distinguished him from his contemporaries. By the end of the 1890s, Sérusier had established himself as a pioneer of modern art, laying the groundwork for movements that would follow, such as Fauvism and Expressionism. However, his career continued to evolve, and his later years would see a return to more structured compositions, influenced by his engagement with classical traditions and mystical ideologies. Paul Sérusier's later life was characterized by a balance between artistic experimentation and the development of a cohesive philosophy on art. By the early 1900s, his involvement with the Nabis group had diminished as the collective began to dissolve. Each member pursued individual artistic directions, and Sérusier, too, sought to refine his vision, drawing from classical influences and mystical thought to create art that transcended surface appearances. After the turn of the century, Sérusier's style began to shift toward a more structured and formal approach. While he retained the vibrant colors and simplified forms of his earlier work, his compositions grew more orderly, reflecting his study of classical art and geometry. He delved into the teachings of Renaissance masters and explored theories of proportion and harmony, which he believed could unlock deeper spiritual truths. This period marked a departure from the expressive spontaneity of his Pont-Aven years, as Sérusier sought to blend intuitive creativity with intellectual rigor. Sérusier was heavily influenced by the mystical philosophies of theosophy and esotericism. These ideas shaped his belief that art was not merely an aesthetic pursuit, but a means of connecting with the divine. His works often incorporated symbolic elements, and his careful attention to geometry and proportion revealed his intent to evoke a sense of cosmic order. In 1908, Sérusier accepted a teaching position at the Académie Julian in Paris, a progressive art school founded by Paul Gauguin, a fellow Nabis. As an instructor, Sérusier became a mentor to a new generation of artists, sharing his ideas about symbolism, spirituality, and the role of intuition in art. His pedagogical approach emphasized the importance of personal expression and the integration of theory with practice. Sérusier's theoretical writings, particularly his 1921 treatise, ABC de la peinture, encapsulated his artistic philosophy. The book outlined his principles of composition, color theory, and the spiritual dimensions of art. It served as both a practical guide for artists and a manifesto advocating for the transformative power of visual expression. Sérusier argued that art should move beyond mere representation to capture the essence of its subject, resonating with the viewer on an emotional and spiritual level. In his later years, Sérusier's work reflected a synthesis of the diverse influences he had encountered throughout his career. His paintings from this period, often inspired by nature, exuded a serene and meditative quality. While his earlier works had been bold and experimental, his later compositions demonstrated a mature restraint, focusing on harmony and balance. Sérusier continued to explore religious and mythological themes, imbuing his works with a timeless and universal quality. His landscapes and portraits often conveyed a sense of introspection, inviting viewers to reflect on their own inner worlds. Despite these shifts, Sérusier remained committed to his belief that art should express the unseen truths of existence. Paul Sérusier passed away on October 6, 1927, in Morlaix, Brittany, leaving behind a profound legacy as a pioneer of modern art. His contributions to the Nabis movement and his innovative approach to composition and symbolism influenced generations of artists. While his work is sometimes overshadowed by more prominent contemporaries, Sérusier's role as a bridge between traditional and modern art remains significant. The impact of Sérusier's teachings and writings extended far beyond his own lifetime.